Thank you.
Is she eating again? That's why I got to go to work. I got to feed all these people. Listen, Puddin', when you gonna get married and get a job and move on out the house?
Grandpa, I'm only 4 years old.
You eat like you're 30.
Harriet Winslow, and this is my nephew, Richie.
Welcome to the hood. Thanks. I think I'm gonna like it here.
You, darling. College your thing?
Oh, no. Well, my trust fund kicks in when I'm 18. It's about 40 G's, so I'm straight.
I just try to be really, really honest with people when I think that they suck, you know?
It doesn't really dawn on me that like all of these people are watching the show and in a sense like they get to see me work, and that's insane. It's fun.
Naya Marie Rivera was born on January 12, 1987 in Valencia, California, to her mother, Yolanda White, and her father, George Rivera. She came from a very talented family. Her brother Michael played in the NFL for many years, and her sister Nikayla, she was a runway model. Her dad, he worked for Universal Music, and he also worked for Disney as an IT. And her mom, she was a model as well in her younger years. And that's actually how Naya got in the entertainment game, because her mom's talent agent also became the talent agent of a baby Naya Rivera. So even before turning 1 year old, she had already booked her first gig in Hollywood in a Kmart commercial as a baby. From there, she would go on to star in the TV show The Royal Family at only 4 years old. And that show was produced by Eddie Murphy, and it was starring Red Fox. So here you got this little child already working with two comedy legends. But the show would only last for one season, not because it wasn't successful, but because Red Fox would pass away during the filming of season 2. He died during a rehearsal. He had a heart attack right on set. And not too long after that, they just canceled the whole entire show. But Naya walked away with two things from this experience. The first thing was she was only 4 years old when she was hired for this show, so she couldn't read. So she couldn't read her lines. But what they had her do was recite and memorize her lines. And that's something that helped her later on in her career, because she gained a reputation of always knowing her lines and never messing up. And the second thing that she walked away with was a love for TV and a love for the spotlight. She would go on to have roles in multiple TV shows throughout the 90s and early 2000s. She was around during that golden age of black sitcoms when the real classic shows were on TV. And she was a part of some of those classics too. She did shows like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Family Matters, Smart Guy. She had roles on the Bernie Mac show too, and she starred in the music video for the B2K song, Why I Love You. So she was very recognizable during the 90s and early 2000s. Matter of fact, her mom told a story of one time when they was in the airport in LAX, and Tupac had spotted the family and seen the little girl because he recognized her from TV. And her mom said Tupac came up to the family and introduced himself and told a young Naya that he was a fan of hers. But through all of the glitz and the glamour of being on TV, there was issues in the Rivera home because her parents divorced after a decade-long marriage in 1996. And also, according to Naya, she said her family would go through times of like financial highs and financial lows, like real low. Like they would live lavish and then they would be just barely getting by. But during the lavish times, one of the things that the family had was a boat, and they would go to different lakes, you know, go swimming, fishing, whatever. And one of the places that they would go to was Lake Piru. And Naya was quoted as saying that this place was like her sanctuary, a place where she found peace. Now, even though Naya had been working for many years in Hollywood consistently, as she was reaching her teenage years, she started to have trouble getting booked for roles. And according to Naya, a big part of the issue was racism. She said that casting directors would tell her she's either not black enough or she's not Latin enough. So she never really found a place that she could fit in. She actually said that one time a casting director told her, "We picked a white woman over you because your lips were too big. They were distracting the male executives." So that's the type of stuff that she had to deal with. And really from the age of 16 to 21, she didn't get much work at all. And during her high school years, according to Naya, she hated high school. She said the same thing there. A lot of racism. She dealt with depression, anorexia. She wanted to be a cheerleader, but like I said, her family would have financial ups and downs. And this was a down period. So they didn't even have enough money for her to become a cheerleader. And it actually got to the point where the family had to withdraw money from Naya's Kogan account. And what that is basically something that the state of California sets up to protect child actors so their parents can't take all of their money and they'll have access to it, once they reach legal age. But I think once you like 16 or so, you can kind of sign off to have certain amounts taken out. And that's what Naya did. So she was trying to help her family. She also tried her hand in music. Like I said, her dad, he worked as an IT for Universal Music, and he had a few connections. And one of the connections that he had was with legendary R&B singer, Al B. Sure. So he was able to get his daughter in the studio with him, and they were able to cut some music, make a demo, but it never really went anywhere. And with the TV roles starting to dry up and her music career not taking off the way she thought it would, Naya was faced with the reality of she had to work in order to keep bringing money in. So she took on jobs as a telemarketer. She worked as a greeter at different clothing stores. She worked as a nanny for a while too. And she would be auditioning, all the time. Anytime she wasn't at work, she was auditioning somewhere, still trying to get that big break in Hollywood because she was very recognizable and she did get a lot of work as a child actor, but she really didn't get to that superstar plateau that she had the potential to be at. But that would all change in 2009 when she was cast as Santana Lopez on the hit show Glee.
Sure, you have to do what we say. And this food was not satisfactory.
There was a mouse in mine.
So we'd like more, please.
You suck so bad, Quinn, for break. I won.
I think I have a bun in the oven. Please don't tell anyone, okay? Especially Artie.
Yeah, sure. Your secret's safe with... Oh my God, Brittany's pregnant. Holy sweet hell. They're fooling around. I know what cheating looks like. I do it all the time.
Initially, her role was just supposed to be a guest spot, but she did so well in it, and the audiences loved the character Santana Lopez, so they just kept bringing her back. But she was still working as a nanny and working on Glee because she didn't have a contract, and she knew how the Hollywood game went. But eventually, they did give her a contract, and they made her a permanent part of the show. Now, in the second season, that's when she would really get to show off her acting abilities and her singing abilities.
Girls, you better watch out. Some guys are only about...
Naya went from just being a working actress in Hollywood to being one of the top stars. She could be seen everywhere during this time. She was on Maxim Magazine's Top 100, People's Magazine, 50 Most Beautiful People, winning awards. She got Screen Actors Guild Awards, American Latino Media Awards. She won 2 Grammys, numerous nominations. She was definitely killing the game. Not to mention a very high-profile relationship with the rapper Big Sean. But Naya wasn't just all about the glitz and the glamour. She had a heart, and she really did like to help people. She was known to volunteer at nonprofits and different charities. Like she did the Los Angeles Mission, which is to help end homelessness in LA. She did the Stand Up to Cancer Foundation, but her favorite one to do was the women's shelter because of the relationships that she was able to build there. And that's just the type of person that Naya was. She had a big heart and wanted to help those less fortunate and give back. And she was definitely one of the it girls in Hollywood. But Hollywood is a lot like life because nothing lasts forever. And the TV show Glee would come to an end after 6 seasons. And around the same time, her relationship with the rapper Big Sean also came to an end. And to add insult to injury, Big Sean released a song called I Don't Fuck With You, which was pretty much a diss song to Naya Rivera. Now, he said that she actually liked the song. He talked to her about it and it was cool. But according to Naya, she did not like the song. She begged him not to put it out, but he put it out anyways. And she said it hurt her a lot that a hit song on the radio was a diss song by her ex-boyfriend. But even though Naya had hit some bumps in the road with her career and her love life, she was still able to bounce back on both because she ended up becoming a part of the TV show Devious Maids. And she also was able to find love again through Ryan Dorsey. Now, he was an actor on the TV show Justified, and they actually dated in 2010, and Naya got pregnant by Ryan, but she never told him, and she aborted the baby. She actually wrote about this in her 2016 memoir, Sorry Not Sorry, and she wrote about her love for Ryan as well. And they got married after only being together for a few months. And less than a year after being married, they welcomed their son, Josie Hollis, to the world. And he became Naya's everything. She was head over heels with her firstborn child. But unfortunately, her marriage was falling apart. And after only 2 years, Naya filed for divorce. They tried to work things out, but in November of 2017, Naya was arrested in West Virginia on domestic battery charges against Ryan. And that was pretty much the end of the marriage right there. They filed for divorce again in December, and it was finalized in 2018. They both agreed that they would split 50-50 joint custody for their son. But through all of the drama in her life, she was still able to keep her relevancy in Hollywood. And in 2018, she was casted as Colette Jones on the TV show Step Up, High Water. And that was a YouTube Red series, but it did so good and had got an audience and it got positive reviews. The show was about to get picked up by Stars. And this is something that Naya was very excited about. And also in 2020, she got a win because an amendment was made to the agreement she had with her ex-husband, Ryan Dorsey, and she was given primary custody of her son. So things were definitely looking up for her. And they were about to begin to shoot the next season for Step Up High Water, but CV happened and the world shut down. And during this shutdown, Naya, probably wanting to get out, took her son to a place that always gave her peace since she was a little girl, and that's out on the lake. There was a video that shows her and her son walking to the boat rental place, and it just looks like a summer day, a normal summer day, a mom holding her son's hand, about to enjoy some time out on the water. Naya would speak to her mother that day when she was on the boat, and her mom says she just remembers seeing on FaceTime how the water was very choppy and how the boat was rocking. And she just told Naya to give her a call once she was off the water. But on July 8th, 2020, something went terribly wrong at Lake Piru. While Naya was out swimming with her son, she began to tell her son to go to the boat, get to the boat, swim to the boat now at a frantic pace. And her son, he couldn't do it, he was too little. So she had to be the one to swim him back to the boat. And she mustered up just enough energy to get him to safety. According to her son, she began to yell for help. And he started to look for a rope, something that he could throw to his mom to help save her possibly. But he said eventually she descended into the water and it was just silence. Her son would be found Hours later, floating on a boat, alone, in his life vest. Once they found him, they knew that his mother was in grave danger. And for the next 5 days, search and rescue teams looked for the body of Naya Rivera. And on July 13, 2020, they were able to locate Naya. And what makes this even more tragic is that it's 7 years to the day that fellow Glee actor Corey Monteith was found dead from a drug overdose. She actually wrote a tribute song to him called If I Die Young.
If I die young, bury me in satin, lay me down on a bed of roses, singing.
Man, that's crazy, man, and definitely tragic. And there will be an outpouring of love from all of Naya's fans, people from Glee, people from when she was just a little girl, family, friends, just everybody letting Naya know how much she meant to them and how much of a hero that she was, because she saved her son's life. The local sheriffs, they reported that her and her son probably got caught in a rip current, and Naya was able to get her son to safety, but she just didn't have enough energy to save herself. But through all of the love and the tragedy that was going on with this situation, there was some drama behind it too, because her ex-husband, Ryan Dorsey, started to live with her sister, Nikayla. Now, this definitely raised some eyebrows, and people were interested on why exactly was Naya's sister now living with her ex-husband, and people questioned it. And they tried to answer those questions by saying that the only reason they were doing this is because Naya's son requested for Nikayla to be his new mom, and she felt like it was her duty to step in that role as Naya's sister. So who knows what's really going on with that? What is known is that Naya Rivera lost her life in a very tragic way, and she meant a lot to a lot of different people, and she will always be a shining star. And she was only 33 years old when she died, man. Rest in peace, Queen.